We've never had that discussion before. No one has ever asked me if I utilize the continuation chart or the front month chart to put together forecasts for specific things that the market's going to do. And the continuation chart is a stitching together, as you know, of contracts that have expired. So most of the chart is going to look normal, except for the fact that at 4 points during the year, the new contract comes in and it's not going to be trading at the same prices that the old one is, and they have to stitch the two together, and they do that by creating false price movement. This one doesn't. But if I were to put a continuation chart back on, it'll all look connected up. And it all looks connected up like now. This is continuation. I can go way, way back, way, 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 because it's all stitched together. You know, you don't have one contract that survives all this time from December of 2019 and so on, and it's all fully traded and all that stuff. So buried in here are those stitches. Well, those stitches didn't actually happen in the market. Those stitches are man-made. And if somehow the forecast that you're putting together is depending on something that happened that really didn't happen, like a stitch, where they're showing you market movement that didn't really happen. Like, let me give you an example right now. Here's a 240-minute chart. This didn't happen right here. See that? So when they stitch something together, that is, you may be using that to create a new forecast. Can it still work? Yes, but it does, it takes you a little bit outside the realm. So I think it's a good idea. Nobody asked, but I'm going to tell you that you do create on continuation charts and on normal front month charts. My bias is towards the front month chart, but I will also look at that same forecast on a continuation chart as well. It can be useful in some ways, but for sure, it gives me an idea. And in many cases, they're going to be roughly the same numbers. But if the stitch is in there and it throws it off, that I keep an eye on that. It's much the same way that we will use Globex overnight session sparingly, but sometimes we will use it. We'll certainly put some forecasts together, check them from the Globex perspective, but the majority of all the forecasts you will end up seeing are developed on the pit session. And there's good reasons for that, because the pit session is the most traded session. You have a fully three-dimensional market. And if you don't have a fully three-dimensional market, the market can do things, move to places, and spend time at places longer amounts than they normally would in a fully three-dimensional market. Not all the participants, not all the forces are really at work. So that's why I focus more on the pit session than I do on Globex.